We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
State Farm National Bureau of Assist's agent Cliff Paul is a visionary assister, just like his twin brother, Chris Paul. Cliff's signature no-ask assist is always a customer pleaser.
Don't worry, Greg. I'm here to help with the window. He's here to help with the passing. Cool.
No matter where the assist is needed, it always ends up in the right hands. The best assist is one you never see coming.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
State Farm National Bureau of Assist's agent Cliff Paul is a visionary assister, just like his twin brother, Chris Paul. Cliff's signature no-ask assist is always a customer pleaser.
Don't worry, Greg. I'm here to help with the window. He's here to help with the passing. Cool.
No matter where the assist is needed, it always ends up in the right hands. The best assist is one you never see coming.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Harry Schroeder. This is Paul Sulentrop. It is our first opportunity to do Voices of the Valley here at the Missouri Valley Tournament this weekend. And Paul, you guys have had a fun little ride, really, you know, covering the Wichita State Shockers over the last 4 or 5 years. I knew that was coming.
Excuse me.
Anyway, anyway, I appreciate you joining us today. Sure. We talked a lot last year just about the magic of this whole little tournament, but it's got to be fun year after year, particularly for the run the Shockers have been on the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think the Valley does a really nice job with this. You know, I've covered several NCAA tournaments, obviously in recent years. I've been to the Big 12, and I think the Valley does as good a job with this as any of those tournaments. So that's nice. And yeah, it's just fun to see the same people, and it's a good event.
Break this season down for us a little bit. You guys started slow, obviously, with Fred injured, and then as things went along, he got healthier, you guys got better, and been pretty dominant the last 2.5, 3 months.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of break it into those maybe 3 phases, kind of where they were wondering about Fred, and then he was out, and then he was coming back. Obviously, they had some problems there, playing against some very good teams without him. And then they played really well with him for January into early February. Lost a couple games, and then after that, they've been really good these last 5 games.
What was there just, no pun intended, was there just shock in Wichita when they finally lost a game at home?
Was, yeah. Very surprising, although, we've seen enough in Northern Iowa over the years.
Sure.
That's what they do. I mean, they're so well coached, they're so solid, they're not going to make mistakes, and, they had a, kind of an interesting season also,
Sure.
So the team that beat North Carolina, that beat Iowa State, and then disappeared for a while, has come back here recently, and, they're very good.
no arguments on the all-conference teams and all those kinds of things. But for my money, if the game's on the line, I mean, I know Fred Van Vliet is the guy, right? But if the game's on the line, I kind of want Wes Washburn on my team.
Yeah, he's very good. And
in those big game situations.
Sure. And they just are, you're going to have to make a lot of shots to beat them. They're not going to give you any easy shots. They're not going to give you any fast break points. They don't turn the ball over. So, they're going to put you in those kind of situations. And, they're playing well.
I wasn't surprised that Barry Hinson was the coach of the year. Obviously, the voting was very close between he and Greg. Were you surprised?
Maybe a little. I just kind of informally talked to some people that voted, and I kind of thought Greg would win it. And then I got here, and I talked to a few more people who had voted for Barry, so then I began to think it was probably going to be pretty close. I can certainly see, an argument for both. What Barry did was, he really rejuvenated that program that has really struggled. From a Wichita State perspective, you're saying my guy won the league by 4 games. What else does he need?
The best coach.
What else does he need to do? If you're Southern Illinois, you're saying look at the improvement we made, and you can make an argument for both.
That's Paul Solentrop. I'm Harry Schroeder. It's Voices of the Valley here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com. We're live at the Scott Trade Center, courtside, getting ready for the play-in games tonight. Maybe opening round games is the politically correct term.
Right.
Tonight, 2 good games tonight before we go crazy into the tournament tomorrow. When I think about the run you guys have been on and all of that, are you guys already on the annual "Is Greg Leaving" watch?
That hasn't seemed to have popped up as much this year. I don't know that there is a job that is obviously coming open like maybe there has been in the past few years that people are stressed out about or watching. So unless that happens, then no. Let's hope it stays that way.
Because I've been, curious about that because there's almost been no talk every year about this time of the year. It's like, well, these 3 jobs and Greg and
right.
And so it's been very different this year.
Well, and one of the factors is he has, at least in my mind, I would assume in his, he's kind of narrowed the field. I mean, if you were to
turned
make
down some pretty nice jobs.
If you were now to make a list of schools that could pay him more than he's making at Wichita State and are better basketball situations and are interested in hiring him, you're now at a pretty small list. 5 years ago that would have been a bigger list.
Sure.
Maybe there was 50 schools on the list at that time. Now is there? I don't know how many there are. Not very many.
I've been shocked that he's turned all those jobs down. There's some pretty nice jobs that came his way.
Yeah. And it's a real. I guess you would say 2 things. It's a real compliment to Wichita State and what they've done to make Wichita State, a place that he wants to stay. And then it's an indication, about Greg. I mean, he was at Winthrop for 8 years.
Right.
If he was, one of those coaches who was locked in on the next job, he would have gotten out of Winthrop before he did. He came to Wichita State, and he's made it, a great job.
I think it's unique the way you guys, the writers around the league, are like friends. We were at that banquet today. Were you? I guess you were at the banquet, and when Barry Hinson received the award, he talked about how those coaches were his good friends. I know the broadcaster guys are good friends, and it seems like when I bump into you guys, the writers, you guys are all kind of have each other's back and work together. You do collaboration articles every once in a while at the Eagle Bear when you get the other guys to weigh in. Just talk a little bit about your relationship with the other beat writers.
Yeah, I think it's probably like any profession, you have similar stories and similar issues and similar problems, and we're usually the 2 guys that close down the gym, the 2 people, they close down the gym, 2 hours after the game. So there's certainly a camaraderie there. So it's fun. It's one of the nice things about the Valley Tournament is you see everybody twice during the season, and then you bump into them for a 3rd time. And
you did a piece where you asked a couple of guys, okay, who's the team that could most likely win if it's not Wichita? Was there I read the article. I don't remember if there was a consensus.
I think Illinois State and Northern Iowa would be the 2, and for a lot of obvious reasons. And one being they're the 2 teams that beat Wichita State, and both of them have played really well over the last month of the season. And both of them kind of present some stiff challenges. Illinois State can match Wichita State's size and length and athletic ability and all those kind of things, and Northern Iowa just so solid doing what they do, experienced. It's a lot of those guys were in the NCAA tournament last year. So, both of those teams are, I think would be entertaining games if they meet.
Talk a little bit about this year's edition. You guys are so deep. The Shockers are so deep. They have all these guys that come off the bench, and it occurs to me that they almost take it personally about those wins and losses, and they really have the whole play angry thing is actually a real deal. Would you explain that a little bit to our viewers?
Yeah, they don't take, it's kind of hard to explain because nobody likes to lose, and I think all coaches would say they take losses seriously, but, for whatever reason, it's, it's at a different kind of state at Wichita State where, they haven't had a lot of success here in St. Louis compared to what they've done during the regular season, and in some ways it's easy to brush off because they generally come here, and even when they lose, they're still going to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
But I think it is a real point of contention for them that they want to dominate this like they've dominated everything else in the Missouri Valley Conference. They do take it very seriously.
I'll give you two last questions. First, the people that are watching this, they're obviously people that care about the Missouri Valley, but so two questions about freshmen. How good do you think Marcus McDuffie can be, and will we see Landry Shamet this weekend?
No, Landry's he's going to take a medical hardship.
Okay.
Yeah. He, I think he said when I talked to him about it, had he been able to play against Missouri State, which was the February 18th game, that was kind of his target. He wasn't healthy for that, and still isn't really. He's not doing.
I just quit asking Greg about it because he kept saying, "Quit asking me."
Yeah, I think it was one of those deals where he, once you answer it, then you got to answer it every week, every day.
Right.
So he was just ready for it to be decided. But Landry still, his ankle is the issue.
I just saw him shooting around.
Yeah,
he
does
well
that. He does that kind of stuff. He does, whatever they call it, light, non-contact drills. He does not scrimmage or do anything of that. So he basically has decided within the last, 2 weeks ago or so that he was going to go for the medical hardship year. I think Marcus McDuffie, boy, he can be very, very good. I think his defense has really been the eye-opener. Now, he played for St. Anthony, Bob Hurley, so he came here with a pretty good understanding of the importance of defense, but still, it's illuminating to see a freshman play that well. He plays really hard, I think. He rebounds, he hustles. And then, you add that to all his other, his physical skills. He's not shooting the ball as well over the past few weeks as maybe he did earlier in the Valley season, but I think he's a good shooter. I think he can be a good scorer, especially when he gets a little stronger, maybe finishes around the basket a little bit better when he gets, adds some strength and weight and maturity and all that. But yeah, I think he can be, he's kind of maybe Clay Anthony Early, but he's a better ball handler than Clay Anthony Early is. Already, I think he's a better defender, or can be a better defender. So, I think he can be really good. Yeah. Now, he may not end up as a second-round NBA draft pick, but boy, where he's at as a freshman, I think is pretty impressive. And if you look at him 2, 3, 4 years down the road, he should be pretty good.
Going forward, is this Shocker team a team that maybe can be now a dark horse? I mean, the last couple of years, Wichita State, they're great, coming in a little bit under the radar in the national tournament.
I think so, because I don't think they will be, they could maybe bump up to a 6 seed if they win 3 games here. I think that's maybe possible. They certainly will not have the attention that they got 2 years ago when they were 35-0.
But good enough to go deep, don't you think?
I think so. As everybody says with the NCAA tournament, it's all about matchups. You're playing a good team on a neutral court, so I always think those games are, they're basically, except for the 116 and the 215, except for those real mismatches, they're all kind of 50-50 or 60-40 deals. Wichita State, they play such good defense that you feel like they're going to be in every game, no matter who they play. And then it's a matter of, who shoots 45% and who shoots 40%, and who makes 12 turnovers and who makes 10. So I don't think they'd be any fun to play against because they play such good defense.
That'll do it for this part. Dave Snell's going to join us in just a bit, the play-by-play voice of the Bradley Braves. This is Paul Solentrop of the Wichita Eagle. I'm Harry Schroeder. You're watching Voices of the Valley right here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com.
State
Thanks, Harry.
Farm
Thank
National
you.
Bureau of Assists agent Cliff Paul is a visionary assister, just like his twin brother, Chris Paul. Cliff's signature no-ask assist is always a customer pleaser.
Don't worry, Greg. I'm here to help with the window. He's here to help with the passing.
No matter where the assist is needed, it always ends up in the right hands. The best assist is one you never see coming.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
I promised you Dave Snell, and here he is, longtime play-by-play voice of the Bradley Braves. So glad you're with us today.
Glad to be here, Harry. I enjoy this tournament so much, and in good years and in bad, it's always great to be here because you see such great action, players, teams, coaches. It's terrific.
Friends in the business,
Yeah,
all
really.
those kinds of
Yeah.
things. It's a reunion, it's a celebration, it's a family reunion every spring here in St. Louis. How long for you doing games at Bradley?
This is the 37th year.
37 years.
Yeah.
Listen, when I emailed you, I said I want to talk about Kaboom, and I didn't mean the mascot. They named the mascot after one of your catchphrases. Am I right?
Yeah.
Tell me the whole story.
Well, when I was growing, first of all, I saw my first Bradley game in 1963. My dad took me to a game, and so I became instantly hooked and would watch all the games. And there was an announcer named Frank Bissoni who always would say, when he was doing games on television, stop and pop and boom. So then when I took over in 79-80 season, every time somebody got a dunk, I just said kaboom.
So it was a dunk call.
It was a dunk call, and it just stuck. And then we wound up having people sponsor the kaboom counter. And so I'd put it, and really the reason that I did, that I wanted the kaboom counter, because we were going for exclusivity at the time for one station, because there were 3 stations doing the game. And I grew up idolizing Harry Carey with the Cardinals.
There you go.
Well, when he went to WGN and started singing the anthem, everybody looked up at his booth and saw WGN. So when they looked at my booth, when I would change the number, it was WMBD, and I did it for branding purposes
There you go.
from there on. So we got the rights, and the rest is history.
When I played high school basketball in the 70s, when somebody had hit a long shot, we would yell, boom! And then I heard about this kaboom thing, and I thought, well, we were like tracking in different stratospheres at the same time.
That's right.
So 37 years there, and obviously the Braves have had a little bit of a tough run.
Yeah, they have.
And you've got all those freshmen, which, maybe bodes well for the future. But I was talking to somebody today, Rich Savosik, as a matter of fact, who'll be on some of the TV broadcasts this weekend, about what this place is like when the Bradley fans are here, when the Bradley teams are good. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, when they went to the Sweet 16, and you had Southern.
08, what year was that?
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago was their last Valley Championship, and Anthony Parker's going into the Hall of Fame, so it's only right because he was on that team. My broadcast partner played on that team, Chad Klein. But I'm losing my train of thought here when...
I'm talking about just fan support. Like you guys were second in the Valley in attendance, and you're at the bottom of the barrel, in terms of wins and losses, and so that says a lot about your fans. But this tournament is a different tournament when you guys are more competitive and your fans come in droves.
Right. You have Bradley, Illinois State, Southern Illinois, Missouri State, Wichita. When those teams have such loyal fan bases that when you can get a Final Four with those teams, which happened, I believe, in 06, then you've got 23,000 people here for the semifinals. So I think it's going to happen. We've got the right guy. He knows how to win. He's known how to build programs. He did it at Wisconsin, Green Bay. And the culture is there. Building the brand, as we call it, is there. It's one step at a time. Remember where Wichita was in Greg's first year, and that's what he's hoping to do, and not only build it for a one-time peak, but build it to last like the Shockers have done.
You guys know him. He's Dave Snell. He's the play-by-play voice of the Bradley Braves. I'm Harry Schroeder. It's Voices of the Valley here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com. And tell us about some of those freshmen. We haven't gotten to see them much yet. You know, some of us have snuck onto the internet and watched it. But tell us 2, 3, 4 of those freshmen that are maybe standing out.
Well, we had 2 on the all-freshman team, and Luc Van Bray. We have 4 international players, all freshmen. Luc Van Bray is from the Netherlands. He's about a 6'8" shooter, but not real physical yet, and that's typical of the European game. Dwayne Lotier Ogunleye is.
I've been practicing that one.
Yeah, I just call him D-Lo because he and Macevikas in the same sentence at times gets a little wordy, but. He's having play out of position. He's not a point guard.
Gotcha.
So his assist to turnover rate is not very good, but he is a scorer. He can drive. He had kind of a hiccup in the midseason, as sometimes I think he's hit the wall because he's played since September of last year straight through. He's not had a break. Cal Barker, who's from Hobart, Tasmania, Australia, is getting used to the United States game. He's about 6.
The United Nations of the Missouri Valley.
Yeah, he's about 6'10", and he needs to work on his footwork. He's a little slow now, but he's had his moments. And then the other international player is from Lagos, Nigeria, by way of Richmond, Indiana, where Billy Wright played, who was on a championship team. And then we have 10 freshmen, 1 senior, and 1 sophomore, and they've all had their moments. They've had to learn to get, it used to be one guy each game, one of them would have double figures and nobody else, and now they've been getting 2 and 3, and they've been getting better. But the common denominator is that they have been getting better as the season goes along, used to playing with each other, and their schedule, they started the season at home against Ball State and won a 1-point game. Then in order, they played at Arizona, they played Virginia on a neutral court. They played Seton Hall on a neutral court. And by that time, the doubt started to set in.
Absolutely.
Because they were very competitive with those teams. And then it got in their heads, are we ever going to win? And in fact, their first win in the league was against the team they're playing tonight, Loyola. So it's been an interesting year, but it's been a fun year. Everybody says, man, how has this been for you? I said, it's been great.
I bet.
Because you see young people getting better every day. And you know that you have to start someplace. And I think before it's through, they'll be playing for a championship.
With 10 freshmen, though, how does he recruit? Meaning that I think that some of those guys will have to leave or something at some point. That'll be the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Ronnie Suggs is from around here. Talk about his year.
Ronnie has been terrific. First of all, he's a Cardinal fan, so he and I like bond like this. But he is one that has had to play the point as well. And he's got the long arms. His defensive game has come really along. He's got a really nice shot. And he's going to be a mainstay at Bradley. He's a building block for the program. He's really good, and what a wonderful young man. Really, his parents, and he's got a brother, of course, that was an outstanding player.
Right at Washington.
And he's just outstanding, and he takes a real... his brother really helps him a lot. His family is terrific, and I'm glad we're here, and hopefully Ronnie has a good game for the local folks tonight.
Sometimes the local guys don't do as well here in
Yeah,
St. Louis.
I know.
They get a little jittery.
Yeah, he's not really like that. He's kind of, these guys are kind of flatliners. I mean, they and they need really a little bit more of that, and I think that'll come. But they're just, I think they're wowed a little bit about where they are with 10 freshmen, but hopefully they'll play well tonight, and then we all know what's coming at noon tomorrow if
they happen to win.
If they happen to win, that's right. But what a great team that is, and careers that all of those seniors that were on the first team have had. It's been outstanding, and it's a pleasure to watch.
Absolutely, a lot of fun. That's Dave Snell. Todd Golden is going to join us in just a little bit. We'll take a break. You're watching Voices of the Valley here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com. Dave, thanks for your time.
Great to see you.
Really appreciate it. We'll be right back with Todd Golden.
State Farm National Bureau of Assists agent Cliff Paul is a visionary assister, just like his twin brother, Chris Paul. Cliff's signature no-ask assist is always a customer pleaser.
Don't worry, Greg. I'm here to help with the window. He's here to help with the passing.
No matter where the assist is needed, it always ends up in the right hands. The best assist is one you never see coming.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
Welcome back, everybody. Todd Golden is with us here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com. Voices of the Valley program, live from courtside here at Scott Trade Center. And we were talking before we came back on just about your team. I have the utmost respect for your head coach. This has had to, I just been like crying in my beer for that guy all year long. It's been a tough year, hasn't it?
It's been a tough end of the year, without a doubt. February was not pleasant, only 2 wins. Both one at the beginning, one at the end of the month, and between that, a lot of hard times. Some close losses early and then some blowouts late in that streak. But, I feel like Indiana State maybe played a little above their capabilities early on to build, a good position in the conference, but probably also played a little bit under their capabilities late. So I think the truth lies somewhere in between. I don't think they're anywhere near as uncompetitive as they were late in the season. And they have some things that they can fall back on. They've beaten all the teams in their half of the Arch Madness bracket, including Illinois State. So they have some seniors that they can rely on. So we'll see. It's you never know coming down here.
We're celebrating seniors today at the big banquet,
right?
And your seniors have been really good for 4 years.
Yeah.
Christian Smith and Devontae Brown. Talk about those guys.
Well, they're both two different, interesting guys who overcame some things to even get to Indiana State. Christian Smith, to start, he was originally a Cincinnati recruit, and Cincinnati backed off on him late, and then he had some academic issues. He went to prep school, and he had to sit out a year as a gray shirt. And what a lot of people don't know about that is that if you don't make your grades, you're done. I mean, that's the end of your, most likely the end of your Division I career. So Christian, prior to even playing, had to have a year where he grinded on his academics, and was able to do that and become a very productive player over the last 4 years. Great defensive player in particular. Devontae Brown was not recruited very much as a Division I player out of Killeen, Texas, and you could see the chip on his shoulder from an early day. Now, I say that he's an intense guy, but also one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to talk to. And, he really proved a lot of people wrong. He's had a great career at Indiana State, has been second team All-Valley 2 years in a row. I don't think anybody had that in the cards for Devontae, back when he was in high school. So he's one of those guys who really had a lot to prove and proved a lot during his Indiana State career, and fun to watch too, and a good guy.
I wrote a story about them mid-season, about those two guys, and I think both of them were on the most improved team at separate years. And I mean, they're just those guys that they just kept working at it.
Yeah.
They were getting better all the time.
Yeah, without a doubt. And in the early part of their careers, they had Jake Odom and Manny Arop and a few other guys to kind of show them the way a little bit. And over the last 2 years, it's been their team, really. And, there's been some good times, there's been some bad times, but certainly they both had very good 4-year careers, and both of them 1,000-point scorers at Indiana State. And, it'll be a shame to see them go. They're both good people, and been an asset to Indiana State's program.
How many years covering the trees for you?
This is my 12th year covering Indiana State, so I'm older than some of these. It's funny. They moved the media room this year,
right?
Or they reversed it. I think they didn't move it, and I felt like a rookie again. I'm like, where's the entrance to the media room? You know, you get used to things.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, you get used to a certain way of doing things. We're back in the media hotel that the Valley was in when I started, and that's a lot different. But the thing that's the same is that the games here are great. The atmosphere is great. You know, it's like a family reunion every year because you get all the teams' fan bases together. You see a lot of familiar faces, and it's been 12 years, but every time I come here, it's always a lot of fun.
I was talking to Paul Solentrop about the kind of the fraternal nature of the writers in this league. You guys really get along and enjoy each other, don't you?
Yeah, we all commiserate over our issues, and we talk about what kind of coaches we get to deal with and all that. We're lucky though, you know. It is. I feel like in the Missouri Valley Conference, you know, most of the teams, schools have a beat writer that travels with them as their day-to-day. Not all of them, but most of them. And so we kind of get for lack of a better way to put it, the big-time experience of following a team around. But what we're very fortunate to have in the Valley too, though, is almost all of us can talk to our coaches, our players, pretty much whenever we want to. You know, when you get up in the Power 5, you know, I cover Indiana once in a while, and great people there too, but it's different. You know, it's a lot more regimented. You don't get as much access, and so we get the best of both worlds. We're very, very fortunate in this league in that respect that we have media-friendly schools, and we live in markets where, for the most part, our schools are the number one thing in that town. So it's very important. I know in Terre Haute, it's very important for us to cover Indiana State to the best of our ability, and you're right. It's kind of a fraternity. Most of the guys have been around basically around the same time I have. Dave Reynolds has us all
long time
beat. You know, he's been here since
grandfather Dave,
the 1800s, I think. Sorry, Dave. But we all get along, and we all share a lot of information, and it's a nice fraternity. I enjoy that aspect of it.
A couple other guys I want to ask you about. Brenton Scott obviously was a second-team All-Conference, the only non-senior in the top two, you know, teams in the league. He obviously burst on the scene. And what is little Clemens doing, getting all those rebounds?
Yeah, Everett Clemens has been really fun to watch this year. I think he ended up fourth in rebounding when you take into account all, you know, Valley only statistics, and he's just a go-getter. He's just intense. He's got a great acceleration to him that helps him dive into piles, helps him beat other teammates for rebounds. His teammates joke with him. They say he steals rebounds off of him, which he does. But hey, if there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're going to go get the ball, have at it. He's just a hustler. Intense, very smart player, and it reminds me a little bit of Troy Taylor, who played at Evansville a few years ago. Same type of player. Sure. Also had a lot of rebounds, and he's been a real energy booster for the Sycamores this year. As far as Brenton Scott is concerned, you know, the sky's the limit for Brenton. I mean, he tailed off a bit at the end of the year when teams started paying more attention to him defensively, but excellent player, excellent shooter. Just has the knack to get that killer shot once in a while for Indiana State, and it'll be interesting to see how he does as an upperclassman.
Tell me about going forward for the Sycamores, like what's in the pipeline, meaning in terms of recruits. I know you've got a guy from St. Louis here coming in.
Right.
You know, obviously in a year that really the Sycamores didn't perform in the way that they, you know, we're accustomed to seeing them go. Yeah. And then, so what does the recruiting story look like?
Yeah, well, Jordan Barnes is who you're referring to. He plays at Christian Brothers here in St. Louis. He's a point guard, and he'll certainly be given the chance to certainly get a lot of minutes at that position next year. What a lot of people don't know about the Sycamores is they have two guys who didn't play at all this year. TJ Bell, who's played here in the past, he was to be their starting center. So he comes back next year, added to Brandon Murphy, who played center, Amandre Rickman, who got some time as a freshman.
He's from across the river.
Right, from over in Collinsville. And so Indiana State should have a pretty good front court next year. Another guy who didn't play this year, who broke his leg during his senior year as a high school player, is Bronson Kessinger. And he'll play some 4, he'll play some 3, but a very talented player, an all-state player in Indiana. And so those guys will come into the fold as well as Jordan Barnes. So Indiana State, they lose Devontae Brown and Christian Smith next year.
Big goals, right.
And those are big losses, but they should be able to at least maintain what they've been able to do this year. I think next year, especially considering that a lot of teams in the Valley next year are going to be facing quite a few losses.
The senior losses across this league, I mean, this is going to be like the Black Plague. I mean, not that the teams will be terrible, but I mean, you're losing the go-to guys, 2 or 3 guys maybe, on several teams. It's going to be a very different
you look
league.
at teams, Wichita State losing Van Vliet and Baker. I mean, my goodness. I mean, they have talent behind those guys, and they're not going to drop off the face of the earth or anything.
Sure.
But certainly that's a huge loss. Evansville losing Ballantyne and Makavicius. Northern Iowa losing their group. It's going to be, and it's Southern Illinois losing Anthony Bean as well. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year next year to kind of see where all that shakes out, which teams are able to kind of reload instead of rebuild.
It's going to be a totally different league. I mean, like, I was really looking forward to this year, and it was special watching those guys climb those, you know, statistical mountains and win games. And it's going to be equally fun next year to say, who is this league? Now, you got all these freshmen out here from Bradley. You know, how good are they going to be a year from tomorrow?
Suddenly, they'll be one of the most, well, not one of the most experienced teams, but
it'll even out.
It will. It will, certainly will. And, you know, you look at next year, Illinois State is looking good. They have a lot of their guys back.
Everybody back, right?
You know, they're going to be very good, and we'll see. It's going to be a mixed bag next year. Wichita State's still going to be pretty good too.
I think they will.
Yeah.
One of the guys I love there is Shaq Morris. I just think he's going to continue to grow and be like a real middle, you know, force in the middle.
He killed Indiana State when they played in Terre Haute, I think 2 weeks ago, and killed him with a mid-range jumper that I haven't seen Shaq Morris.
He likes that elbow shot a little bit.
Yeah, he does. And if you could get somebody with a little bit of size to spread it out, you know, that's not spreading it out to the three-point line, but still, you know, that's going to be an asset for the Shockers next year.
Yeah, should be very interesting. We'll take a break. Todd Hefferman's joining us in a little bit. Really appreciate your time hanging out with us.
Appreciate it.
It's Todd Golden. He covers the Sycamores. We'll be back in a minute. You're watching Voices of the Valley here on ValleyHoopsInsider.com.
State Farm National Bureau of Assists agent Cliff Paul is a visionary assister, just like his twin brother, Chris Paul. Cliff's signature no-ask assist is always a customer pleaser.
Don't worry, Greg. I'm here to help with the window. He's here to help with the passing.
No matter where the assist is needed, it always ends up in the right hands. The best assist is one you never see coming.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
Ask, I will answer.
There you go. Todd Hefferman is as well. Not yet. Todd Hefferman is with us. He covers the Southern Illinois Salukis. And how long for you doing that? Southern Illinoisan, right? Did I say it right?
Right.
Yeah.
You got it.
And how long for you?
8 years. I started in 08, January of 08.
First question has got to be about Barry. He wins the Coach of the Year. Barry Hinson, the head coach of Southern Illinois, wins the Coach of the Year award today. Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, I thought he deserved it. I wasn't able to vote for him just because of the way the Valley does the voting system, but I thought he with the least, and they were picked 9th. They finished 4th because they finally got a point guard to take the ball handling away from Anthony Bean, allow him to flourish. They got a shooting guard named Leo Vincent. That was a nice addition off the bench. He had 24 points against Illinois State, helped them beat them. Bola and Sean have played better, and he had 2 redshirt freshmen that made nice contributions. So he added one piece he had to have was the point guard, and he got both of these guys late.
Well, yeah,
I mean, he lost 5 guys at the end of last season, and I thought just to have a winning record would be great, and we've seen 22-9.
The Bradley Braves are right out there, so I don't know how much of us you're hearing. They're getting warmed up. This is Todd Hefferman, the Southern Illinoisan, covering the Southern Illinois Salukis. Barry has talked all year long about the basketball passion in that region. Describe that for our viewers.
It's just, I mean, they've been starving for a winner. I mean, they've had more 20-loss seasons. They've had 2 or 3 in the last 5 years, and they're starving for a winner. I mean, they love the game. SIU has a great history with Walt Frazier and Brian Mullins, who's out here with Loyola now. Jamal Tatum. They won.
Those were great years.
They won this tournament 3 times in a row. It's never been done before. May never be done again with Rich Herron's teams. And Rich only won the Coach of the Year award once. And they've got some great teams. It's just they were starving for a winner. When they win, people come back in droves. That's why attendance has been up. It's over 5,000 a game now. And it couldn't have come at a better time because the state is such a disaster financially, and SIU needs the money, frankly. And it's nice to have people excited again about Silky basketball.
I thought it was so weird this year. Your team turns around and they're just flying at the beginning. And then they play Southern Illinois Edwardsville across the river, who they've never lost to.
Yep.
And Southern Illinois Edwardsville, I've seen them play a number of times, and we cover them here at ValleyHoopsInsider.com. They're bad with a brand new coach, and they'll get better. John Harris is a terrific coach. And then they beat you. I mean, that was the what moment of the season for me.
Yeah, it was the what moment of the season for me too. I thought that was the one win you have to have when you're Barry Hinson and you're SIU. You got to beat the little sister. But I give them a lot of credit. I give the Cougars a lot of credit. They made like 13 of 22 threes that game. Connor Wheeler was ready to play that game. SIU was not. They thought they could win the game at the end, and they weren't able to do that. And I thought it was a great feather in the cap of John Harris. Like you said, a new guy. What a great way to start out the year for him in the non-conference. Now, unfortunately, they weren't able to follow it up in the OVC, but a great win for them, and we'll see about next year.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for John Harris. I like him as a guy. I think he knows what he's doing. Obviously, spent all those years working with Conzo Martin, so he's got a lot of good training, and he was a terrific college player. Talk about going forward with you guys. Anthony Bean has been such a big part of the successes or survival of the Salukis. What's going forward for Southern after this year? I want to talk about postseason thoughts in a minute, but next year, no Anthony, and Ebola's a senior, yes? No, he's coming back.
Senior.
And so what will the team look like a year from now?
Well, I think Vincent will slide into that spot. I think Vincent will become a bigger scorer because he's playing more minutes. I think he could be an effective starter in this league. He'll be a senior. Rodriguez will be a senior. They'll still have Bola and Sean. Tyler Smith-Peters will be a senior. So there's a lot of guys that have played 4 years. Excuse me.
Sure.
And they have some recruits coming in that are point guards. Armand Fletcher will be in his 3rd year.
Yeah, talk about Armand a little bit. He's from across the river as well.
So they'll have some athletic guys, some long guys. But you can't replace 20 points with one guy.
Right.
But we wondered what the hell they were going to do without Desmar Jackson, too.
Sure.
So somebody stepped up. Hopefully they'll get better defensively, because I don't know if they'll be able to average 78 points a game like they did this year. It's so easy watching Bean, watching score. You think that's an easy thing, and it's not.
No. The Anthony Bean, a little bit of a concussion problem at the last game. What are you hearing about Anthony?
It was a mild concussion. If it really wasn't concussion, we know he was in the protocol. But basically, he progressed. He was able to practice on Wednesday with contact if they chose to do that. So he's passed everything. He'll be ready to go tomorrow. But I think it was a good thing that they played on Friday instead of Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anthony Bean, we're just waiting to see how well he'll turn out this weekend as well. Talk about the matchup this weekend for the Salukis.
Well, and Anthony said it yesterday, or I said it on Wednesday. We really ran the table in the first game. They really ratcheted up the defense the second time. They dictated to us what we were going to do the second meeting. So it's like SIU has to try to dictate the tempo, dictate what they can do with their guards. When you're playing a guy like Jeremy Morgan and Wes Washburn that are long and athletic, you can't let them come to you. You got to take the ball to them. So SIU has to find a way to get to the basket, even though UNI is going to pack it in and dare them to make threes. I think that's the key thing.
It's so interesting to me to watch Wes Washburn. He stands out there at about the half line and kind of hangs around a while, and then he's going to go drive and make something happen. He is a lethal guy.
You see his length when he's just kind of dribbling around, but when he gets serious, he puts his shoulder down. He's extremely quick and can get around you pretty easy. And if he gets a step on you, he's long enough to finish over you. So that's why he's a really hard defender. And they don't have anybody other than Fletcher that can match his length and athleticism. So that's what they got to do is contain him and hope Bennett Cook doesn't go crazy like he did. He had 22 points, career high, last time they played.
Todd Hefferman is with us from the Southern Illinois, and we're talking about Saluki basketball and the Missouri Valley tournament. Going forward, I think you've got to assume this team is going to play basketball beyond this weekend. Where's maybe a good fit for the Egyptian Dogs?
Well, we'd love to say the NIT is going to make it, but their RPI is too high. Unless they beat Northern Iowa and Wichita State somehow, back-to-back games, they're not getting to the NIT. So what their top options are, the CIT or the CBI. They did some things during the season to reduce cost traveling, so they have some extra money. And they believe that if they get a home game, they can actually make some money. You have to bid some money to pay to play in those leagues, but they think they can get $5,000-6,000 for a playoff game. And if you get into one of those two tournaments, which I think they will, you got a chance to win because you're talking about the top 120 teams are in the other two tournaments, and SIU has got to be considered one of the best of the rest.
I went and saw Evansville. I guess I went on the road and watched them play 3 of their CIT games last year, and that's a blast. I mean, people say, well, there's the NCAA is X and then NIT is Y. What are these other two? They're really valuable and fun basketball and good teams. We covered the Ohio Valley here. I got to watch Morehead State and Eastern Illinois and Evansville last year. And then, of course, Loyola wins the other one, the CBI. I think that's extremely beneficial for Southern Illinois or any of these teams in the league that can move on.
And I think it's a chance to make something positive of the season at the end, get some momentum for next year, and give the seniors like Anthony Bean, that's had a great career. If he doesn't win the tournament, doesn't play in the NCAA tournament, you give him another chance to make another title. I think that's a great idea. If you can afford to do it and build some momentum for next year, you get to practice a little bit more at that time. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think they've got to try it if they get that opportunity.
Final question, then we'll let you go. Barry is such a bizarre human being, he's our favorite. He's every one of our guys' favorite. Barry Hinson is the bomb. Is he that way every day? Because he's that way every time I talk to him.
I think what you see is what you get with him. But I think at times, like today at the Coach of the Year banquet, he was talking about Ron Baker being a Chippendale, and he's glad Fred VanVleet was done. So a little of that. Barry's a likable guy, but a little bit I think is a little bit for show.
Sure.
But he's a genuine human being. I mean, you see him in the hallway. He's the same guy as you see out here. I've seen him off the court. I've seen him when he's not around anybody else. He's the same guy, and that's what I've always admired about him and enjoy about him. But I was happy to see him get that award. It's the first time he's ever won it.
Yeah.
And I think he's great for the league. He's always been a proprietor of the Valley. Loves the league. Loves the geographic situation here. And the league has a lot of history, and he's part of that history. Unfortunately, he's part of that number 21
That
RPI
21,
history.
that's right.
Highest ranked team, never make the tournament, but he's also a part of a lot of good history. So it's just he is what you get.
We love Barry Hinson, and we really appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Give us one prediction out of this tournament. If it's not Wichita State, who wins?
I will say Northern Iowa wins the tournament. If Wichita doesn't, I think they've got the experience. They won it last year, obviously, but they've got the experience. They have the type of defense that can keep it a low-scoring game, and they have the toughness. I think they can do it.
Don't go to Vegas. Just don't make that bet, but just in case. Todd Hefferman, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You've been watching Voices of the Valley on ValleyHoopsInsider.com. I'll take a quick break, wrap things up in a minute, and we will be right back. Thanks again.
Thank you, buddy.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.
State Farm National Bureau of Assists agent Cliff Paul is a visionary assister, just like his twin brother, Chris Paul. Cliff's signature no-ask assist is always a customer pleaser.
Don't worry, Greg. I'm here to help with the window. He's here to help with the passing.
No matter where the assist is needed, it always ends up in the right hands. The best assist is one you never see coming.
The Bradley Braves are going crazy right out there in their pregame warm-ups. In the 8-9 game here at 6 o'clock at Scott Trade Center, Loyola against Bradley. Very big game for both these teams. You know, Loyola won the CBI tournament last year and kind of a little bit a down year this year, end up in this 8-9 game. Bradley with these 10 freshmen. It's a great opportunity for them to grow and understand what the Missouri Valley Conference is like. Just another test, another growing experience for the Bradley Braves. I want to thank our guests that have been with us this afternoon. Dave Snell from the Bradley Braves, Todd Hefferman, who just left us from Southern Illinois, and Todd Golden from Indiana State, and of course Paul Sulentrop from Wichita State. Great writers and broadcasters all throughout this conference. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon. These interviews you're going to be able to watch later on as well. We're going to archive them, put them up on the spot on the website, valleyhoopsinsider.com. You might be watching it on YouTube right now, or you might be watching it on our website. Either way, they'll be on the site for you later on. We appreciate all of the viewers, the readers, the watchers of valleyhoopsinsider.com. I'm Harry Schroeder, reminding you, since you've been there, make it a better place. You've been watching Voices of the Valley, a special presentation of valleyhoopsinsider.com.
We have some news for you.
I think we need a bigger house.
David, I'm taking the job.
Yeah, I'll look for a job tomorrow.
I'm moving to New York.
I think I need to move home.
Important conversations happen every day around your kitchen table. When you're ready to discuss insurance, we're here to listen.
So now what?
Physicians Mutual. Insurance for all of us.